You good now?
Sure.
Okay. All right, let's call this meeting to order finally. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call?
Yeah, trustee Earps,
Here.
trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Giroux,
Here.
trustee Saint Germain. Trustee Craig.
You don't see either one of them yet. Okay, we do have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and proceed.
Okay.
All right, let's stand for the flag salute. Right there, in case anybody's wondering. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
I'm going to move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. They still out there? Okay, motion carries at any rate.
Right.
All right, moving on, we have public comment tonight. Whichever one of you gentlemen would like to go first, you have 3 minutes. And as just FYI, as a matter of procedure, we'll hear your comment and all that tonight, but we cannot take any action or discuss it as a board because it's not an agenda item. We will put it on the agenda for next time.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Should I go on record? Sure. Okay, well, I'm Mitch Jarrett. I know everybody here in front of me. And I represent the Timberline Alumni Foundation, serving as the president at this time. We took on a project to build a new crow's nest for the football field at Timberline to replace the old one, which was a hazard. And I think it was an original. I don't remember when it wasn't there. So I know it's been there since the mid-70s. I just don't remember before that. Anyways, I jokingly said that if you cut a certain board off, it would fall over. But anyways, we took on this project and because of a variety of reasons, the cost got greater than we anticipated, mainly because it became a commercial building and we didn't anticipate that. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to ask the school district to partner with us in this project and fund half of it, which would be about $14,500 for that half. And if you have questions for me, I would gladly try to answer them. How far have you guys got so far? It's done. It's done.
Oh,
It's done except for the signage. The signage, we're still, the Coxes are doing the signage for us. But we anticipate that to be $300 to $500.
Okay. And so you just depleted a lot of your funds that you weren't planning on.
Well, we anticipated spending $15,000, but it just turned out to be 29,000 and change.
Okay.
And some of that was requirements because it was commercial. Some of it was just unforeseen, but that's just what the costs are. Building's expensive anymore. And I don't know if any of you have seen it. And I don't know if
I've seen it.
okay.
It's very nice.
Yeah, it went from being basically I think the other one was about 7 by 7 or 8 by 8, and this one's 10 by 16 and 2 stories. The bottom is being used for storage for the football team, and then the top floor has a place for the score clock runner to go or somebody to keep stats, and also has the camera system so that the games can be recorded and shared with other teams in the state. So, any other questions for me?
So it's 14.5 is what you would be asking.
14,556 is what.
14,556. Okay.
Is that's labor and materials? Okay.
We planned to have several work days, and every time we had one planned back in May and early June, there was some kind of conflict or some box wasn't checked, and we had to where the line is between us and the Timberline and Knowlton's. There's a jog out right there, and we had to get an easement to build where we're going to build because we're technically a couple feet across the line.
Okay.
Okay, so that took a while to get that tracked down, and so it got delayed. And once we got into the summer, there was no availability of days to have a work day. And plus the fact that having volunteer work days are not going to cover as much ground as guys that are doing that kind of work, for sure. Anyways.
Okay. Go ahead, Don.
My turn?
Yep.
I'm Don Ebert. I think most of you know me. I was on the school board for 10 years and I'm the treasurer, Timberline Alumni Foundation. And we come to ask you to help pay for half of this. And I just wanted to give you some things to think about in the respect of some other things we have bought. We really want the same thing you do. And we have enhanced the mission at Timberline High School many different ways. For example, we bought AEDs. We paid for field trip for the 4th grade history class. We bought some archery equipment so they could have a little archery class. We contributed to some drones so kids could learn about that. We bought coats one year for kids that might not be. We have right now, I got to write a check for a welcoming kit for new students. We've contributed to the volleyball program, the football program, and we've given, I don't know how many dollars worth of scholarships. So I think hopefully, you know, you could flat say, no, it's not our deal. We're not going to pay for half of it. But I just wanted you to know that our money goes for things that arguably, you know, they're not necessarily your responsibility, but they go along with what you're trying to do. You know, it's for the good of everyone, particularly things like AEDs and anything for education. And we're just kind of a backstop, kind of a support for you and your mission. And I don't see that we'll deviate from that. Right now we have memberships. We have ongoing memberships. We get about $800 a month just in automatic payments. And we have fundraisers. We've actually raised quite a bit of money. I don't have those numbers on the top of my head, but it's significant. We're successful and we will continue to partner with you. And, you know, we're helping to accomplish the same mission that you are. And so I think if you were to say yes, to contribute, that money will be well used. It will be along the lines of what you might want us to do anyway. And, you know, we're all basically on the same team. And that's really about all I can say, except for please.
So before the next meeting, is it possible to get a breakdown of the cost of materials and all that stuff so that we can
Yes.
see it on paper and how many volunteer hours were maybe contributed to it, labor and all that stuff, if you can? I mean, if you can, I mean, I get it,
So
but,
volunteer hours would be pretty much me,
oh,
because I didn't charge any time for myself.
okay,
And then my crew ended up building it, but I discounted the hours. I didn't charge.
Okay.
the normal hourly rate.
yeah, just so that we can have a breakdown of it, just,
Yeah, we can get you a breakdown, and our intention was for the volunteers to build it, but
right,
we got faced with, we're not able to put that all together, and we got to get this done for football season, and which we did. And
yeah. So if you guys can get that together and send it to him so that we can have it, so that board members can look at it all and see the breakdown of it all, that's always helpful
okay.
when we're trying to make a decision on stuff.
And then if you go ahead and give us this money, I assure you that we will spend that much and probably threefold on things that are what you would be very justified in spending yourselves anyway.
All right. Thanks, guys.
No, thank you.
All right. Anybody, that's it. You guys got anything else? Good?
It's far away enough from the field now that I can yell at the refs when I'm at that.
That's very, we got sportsmanship now too.
Huh. Location. Only for you, Greg, only for you.
Severe liability for you too.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our building reports. Did everybody have a chance to review the building reports? So, recognition, what?
You missed.
What I missed?
We're not quite there.
Oh geez, I'm sorry. I jumped for some reason. Gosh. All right. Approval of the minutes. Gosh. Yeah, I skipped two whole sections. I know. What's wrong with me? All right. Can I get a motion for approval of the August 21st?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
for what you're doing.
Good to
Appreciate
see
it.
you.
I'm gonna move that we approve the August 21st, 2023 work session regular meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Good deal.
Ryan, Sarah.
Good to see you on, Brian. All right.
Carmen, 6:34. When you joined.
Consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
I'm gonna move that we accept the consent agenda as listed there.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I put my notes in the wrong place. That's why I jumped ahead. Mhm. Yep. All right, now we can move on to our reports and recognitions. From the Orofino Elementary School, they'd like to recognize Marcy Barner and Tammy Schwartz as they started the school year, and we all know how busy that is and just chaotic it can be. But those ladies did a fantastic job of keeping everything organized, prepared, and on track. So they're greatly appreciated. And also they would like to recognize Russ for his efforts in creating the infrastructure for the safety and the new locks and all that kind of good stuff they have down at the elementary school, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm looking forward to checking that out this week. Pretty cool. Okay.
And it was 5.
Oh,
So it's
perfect.
Great.
right.
Cool. Cool beans.
Not all where it's gonna get.
Okay, wonderful. And from OJSHS, we have recognition for Jake Vanderwall, the new custodian. He's making sure that the building is in great shape, and it looks wonderful up there. It really, really does. And some of the other custodians being sick, so he's had a lot on his plate. So and has done a really good job. Abigail Waller for tackling her new responsibilities as a librarian and making sure that the students can check out books. Yay. And Michael McCook, the new behavioral intervention paraprofessional for collecting and organizing data and being a strong role model for the students. His data report was awesome. Wow. I mean, I looked at that and I went, whoa, that's kind of right in my wheelhouse. And that was pretty cool. So that's going to be good moving on throughout the school year to see that stuff. And from Timberline, food service staff, Kathy Hodges and Shelley Stewart, and of course, Carmen for her work behind the scenes. I always hear great things about what they do for meals at Timberline. I've known those ladies for a while and they really, really do an awesome job and they love the kids. You can tell just when you watch the kids go through there that they really, really just love it. So good job, ladies.
Timberline is growing too a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. That's pretty, seems like, yeah. Well, and I'd also like to give a shout out to Dr. Garrett. He was dealing with some personal tragedies and we had a situation in Orofino with the fires and he took time out of that and dealing with that to help get everything back on track in Orofino on a very, very chaotic, awful day. So good job.
Thanks.
All right. Now, anybody have anything else they'd like to see? Well, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Geez, I'm just
know.
going all
Too
over the
fast.
place. I am
What's the
going too
thing
fast.
About the
Oh,
YCA.
I didn't see that one. Yeah, Addie.
Saltarelli got a $10,000 grant.
Yeah,
Build
she
a
did. For
greenhouse,
The greenhouse,
planting
the
beds.
greenhouse grant for, I think we
We gotta
recognize
mention
that.
IDYCA. We're sitting here. you know.
Yeah, we actually did that one already.
Or did we?
Yeah, like last month.
Sorry
or
about
two
that.
things. Okay, but good
But
job
we're gonna
anyway.
mention it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our presentations for early graduations. Who would like to go first? Destiny Stephonics, come on up.
Just remember, you're on YouTube and all of our followers are watching.
We're trending.
What'd we say? 200?
Hello, my name is Destiny Stefanik, and first off, I would just like to thank you all for being here to allow me to present to graduate early. And my main reasons for wanting to graduate early is to go into college. I would like to get a bachelor's degree in criminology, and I have like two top jobs that I kind of want to go into, and that's either a detective or a forensic scientist, which both work a lot in the more like solving crime side of all of this. And I really just want to make a change in the world, and I would like to get a head start in that. And I want to graduate early to be able to just have that little bit of a step forward.
Okay. What school are you planning on going to?
U of I.
I like the line about being early. Nice line. That came from Grandpa.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds like you've been planning this for a long time.
Yeah. So it all started, I did an extra class in my freshman year, and then I had talked to the counselor about it my sophomore year. And like I'd said in my paper, the original plan was just to have a smooth sailing senior year. But when she said that I was completely set up to graduate early, that is what I had strived to do since then.
It's like you reached your goals. You had good grades too.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any more questions?
No, thanks for coming to speak to us and thanks for
Yeah.
the good letter.
Yeah.
Thanks for
nice
being
letter.
here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. What's her name?
Yes.
Leilani. Come on down.
Hi, I'm Leilani Orozco, and thank you for having me and letting me present this case to you. I would like to graduate early so I can get a head start into college and into the medical field. I want to get a bachelor's degree of science in nursing so I can become a midwife. And I want to start off as like a pediatric nurse or just a nurse and work my way up as I go on. But I think graduating early is really going to help me get in there as fast as I can and maybe even go farther than just a midwife. So that's really kind of why I want to graduate early. It's definitely been a difficult and long passing, but we're getting there.
What school do you want to go to?
I'm thinking about using University of Oregon. I want to go somewhere out in Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do your grandparents live in Eugene?
Yes, they
Oh,
do.
really? Oh, good.
Good
Yep.
school.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Pretty impressive. You moved up here being behind and then to make up that mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So my freshman year was the first year I had without my mom, and it was the toughest, like the hardest thing I had to do. I've never struggled in school ever. And then it was like my first year of high school, and I was doing good the first semester, and then the second semester I kind of just went straight down, but I caught it back up, caught my classes back up, and I talked to Mr. Lee about it. And he said that I was on track to do it, and that if I really wanted to, I could. So I started my sophomore year. I was told I needed 6 extra credits to graduate, plus my second semester and first semester of my junior year. So I took a overload class my sophomore year. And I had no electives. They were all classes. And then summer, I took 3 classes as well, one of them being a college course class. And then this year I have 2 Englishes and 2 math classes and
Wow.
regular ones.
Great
Yeah.
job. Way to turn it around.
Yep.
What made you decide to go into the midwife realm?
So when I was a kid, my mom always wanted to be a nurse, and like me as a kid, I was like, it's what my mom wanted to do. I want to do it, you know? And like, as I started getting older, like I never really, like, I don't like, it's hard to find passion, like very much passionate of things. So like, as I started to think about it, it was more of like kids that I was morely passionate about, and medical field is what I was morely passionate about. So I started thinking of teaching for a little bit, but I didn't think I could like explain it to children in a way for them to properly process and learn it. So I lead in towards more of the medical field, and the more I began to learn about it, the more I began to fall in love with it and really enjoy and want it to be my passion.
Cool.
So
Wonderful.
yeah.
All right.
Any other questions?
No, another awesome letter. Thank you for putting effort into it.
Thank you for reading it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That's the only two we have.
Yep.
Okay.
And you guys are welcome to stick around if you'd like for the action, or you're welcome to leave if you'd like as well. It's totally up to you.
All right. Since I jumped around.
Did we have one that was called in or no?
Say,
The one, sorry. The third one decided to wait till a couple more months
Okay.
before.
Awesome.
Get things in line.
Thank you.
So, yep, sorry
Okay.
about that.
all right. So we have a committee report from the safety committee with Derek, Russell, and Roy's not here.
Roy's not here, but he has a report. So they're just going to give a update kind of, I think it's safety meeting, that committee meeting we had, and then Russell's going to give you a little update on the security systems that we're installing and where we're at with that. And Roy, we have his report. He's not able to be here tonight, so we can brief
Yeah.
through that with all the projects.
Since I'm
if you'd like.
keeping you guys on your toe by jumping around.
Yeah.
So really, a lot of the safety committee stuff is a lot of what we're talking about that Russell's going to share, because a lot of that has to do with the building safety. And that is the controlled access and that kind of stuff. So really, a lot of it is Russell stuff and Roy stuff, because we had safety as far as building fencing that they did this summer, safety as far as signage, exterior signage that Roy worked on this summer. And so a lot of that really is going to fall to their reports as well. Otherwise, if he throws in some of the transportation safety things we have some railings that's been put up at the schools to keep kids from walking through there. If Roy put that in his report, the stuff that was done, things that you've seen. One of the things we're working on is on Riverside Avenue. We cannot get the sidewalks repainted. They're the crosswalks. Cannot get it done. The city says we really can't. It's state highway. State doesn't care. City's been trying to get state to do it. They've been trying to get it done, and we're still fighting that. So little things like that we just can't quite get, but we're trying. So
What do you need from us to get that done?
I don't know. Paint, paint and a roller, I guess. We'll do it ourselves.
If,
Yeah.
I think Pierce,
So-
we just did it.
Yeah.
We painted the state.
So yeah, there's a little city-state fight on that, I guess, of jurisdictional. But that's one of the things that was on there.
well, I would think that with the help of OPD, maybe,
That's who's
to
been
get-
trying.
and they
That's
stand, they're not,
been-
they're
yeah,
not
Vinny's been
getting.
trying for us.
We fought the
So-
state out of night force for years because of pulling out on that highway. And they've said everything's this code and
Mhm.
someone's gonna get in a bad wreck there, but
Yeah.
they showed us the paperwork and so that's a tough one.
Mhm.
Wow.
One of the communications parts, we are working on a new repeater system that we should be getting installed. It's just waiting on components that the sheriff is partnering and the county's partnering with us to do. This, another part of that is putting in communication, radio communication in all the schools. And I sent another email today preparing for this off to the communications company who's doing this project, because I cannot get an answer from them on a bid or a cost or what it's even going to take to get in our, we've been working for like a year on this. And we're just, I guess, small enough beans. I'm having trouble getting them to give us the information. So I sent off yet another email on that today,
And
trying to get some
probably
information.
chose them. Derek, was it price? Was it location?
What's that?
Would you remember why we chose them in the beginning?
Because they are one of the only government ones that can bid the government projects, and that's what's been going with the county's project that we are partnering with.
Okay,
So that's why.
thank you.
On a personnel safety, we have to be restraint trained all across the district, and we're waiting on the state to get that curriculum out. And so that was really the items, other than a lot of Russell's stuff that he's working on, the controlled access, and I'll let him share that with you. So if you have any questions.
No, that's disturbing. They won't paint the crosswalks and do that.
Yeah,
stuff.
isn't that crazy? Something safety, like painting crosswalks. Yeah. And you did see in my report that I had sent a request to you guys, if there's any way you can help lobby with the speed limit on Riverside Avenue. Because we did have a car
Yep.
accident there last year at the bottom of Hospital Hill or
Yeah, during
School
school.
Hill.
Yeah.
and we had 2 near misses on buses last week at that intersection with cars pulling out in front of us. So I have instructed all of our drivers, I want to see 35 miles an hour period the end on a bus.
Yeah.
We can take that proactive action. So.
Yeah, that,
Where were you wanting the speed limit to go to? I forget.
And you know, I've been talking to the sheriff about this. He's also trying to work on this. It's again fighting the state. It goes to
Well-
45 miles an hour right
Yeah.
through the middle of the district office, night force.
they just need to extend that
Yeah,
speed
To the
zone.
city
They
limits.
need to
City
extend it out.
limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would think, yeah, there's,
And we're receiving some help with, from OPD and the
Yeah.
and Sheriff's Department. So they are partnering with us.
Yes, and they are
help.
working to do extra patrols.
Yeah.
I've talked to them. I talked to them over the weekend as I was out with them about it some more. We've had school bus passing violations like crazy on Riverside.
I
and
noticed
we've talked
that.
about that too.
I
with them.
noticed that today, as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
there's a,
Hmm.
oh, yeah, we need to put some pressure
So-
on the different agencies.
Law enforcement's doing what they can, but they're shorthanded as
Well-
well.
I
And
think
getting
that
them
this
at
is
the
one where-
elementary and the high school and
Squeaky wheel, we're all gonna have to make some
We're
calls
gonna
and
have to
just
do
stay
it.
after it.
so. I was hoping maybe a little board pressure on that, maybe
Yeah.
the school district together
Absolutely,
coming would maybe
absolutely.
help the state. If we get everybody involved with it, can we do something with
Mhm.
creating a safer zone here where this is the access to our high school?
Yep.
I went out last week for a traffic count for our safety busing and between 650 and 750 at the 45-mile-an-hour sign was over 400 vehicles.
I believe it.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt, no
Got a
doubt.
lot of traffic there.
so. Okay.
All right, we will see what we can
Thanks.
Thank you.
do with that.
Well, finally, there is some pretty good progress on the access control and cameras. It helps if you can get the hardware in. And in the last few weeks, we've gotten almost everything in. 2 things that are still outstanding are 2 card readers for Orofino Elementary, which were ordered April or May of 21, I think.
Yeah.
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 22, maybe. I don't, a long time ago. So we've actually, to kind of mitigate that a little bit, we ordered a couple extra of the slim line ones and so we'll have everything done except for one door in the front that we want to go ahead and stick with that larger reader for that ADA door on the
Mhm.
front. But those I think are supposed to ship September 28th. If I remember correctly, something like that. I think I had that in my report. So that school's looking pretty well. We've got one more camera to put online and then all the cameras will be on. We've built a lot of the background infrastructure so that you can easily view those cameras and things like that. We've got the main entry, the playground entry and the market entry, all access controlled now as of Wednesday evening. So working, fine tuning that a little bit with the door stations so that we can, with the door station, we can actually listen to the door station. We can talk to the door station. There's a button there. We'll program what that button does, whether it makes a phone call or does an alert. Just kind of what works best for the building there. So that building actually, Thursday afternoon, I worked with the secretaries to get the software loaded and get them some control of that front door because they get up 500 times a
Yeah.
day to answer that front door. So they can now at their computer, see who's at the door
Awesome.
and just go click and the door's open. So finally that's coming about. So I anticipate we're scheduled to have CompuNet again tomorrow and I believe Wednesday, maybe 3 days this week, but at least 2 this week. And so I think OES will be looking pretty good, pretty finished up. And then they will go to working at Orofino High School. Anticipate cameras will be the first thing that comes up because the cameras, all the interior cameras are hung. There's only a couple of exterior cameras that are not. We had exterior cameras that weren't in last time they were working on Orofino High School. So we should be able to get those finished up, get some cameras online and we'll work toward access control there. But The problem is we're having to share the resource with Kendrick, with I think Genesee, several other people. So CompuNet's trying to give us a fair shake, and I keep saying, hey, come on, let's, but we do have to share a little bit. And the problem is all the schools got the money all at the same time. So,
Kind of the way.
but we have the hardware because we started earlier, right? So Timberline, we have the access control across the campus at Timberline. We haven't done door stations or cameras in the high school part yet. So the elementary is looking pretty good for the hardware we had when we went through that, which was not exterior or interior cameras, but we had the door stations. So working on getting the door stations. I worked on that today. I'll do some training with the secretary so we can get that started. But until we have the door stations on the main building, we are a little uncomfortable with locking that all up, because now it wouldn't be a big deal, but in the winter, if you get kids stuck out there and they can't get in, we need to be able to have that camera and communication right there. So hopefully we can come around with that pretty quickly. The other piece that we're working on, and this will be for Timberline campus, Orofino Elementary campus, and Orofino High School campus, is the method that we're going to use to schedule the building for the day. And what I'm pushing for, which may take some custom programming, I really want the first person in the building to scan a school day schedule card that schedules the campus for a school day. And unless someone scans that card, it's not scheduled for a school day. And the reason for that is what a lot of schools do is they just put in a schedule. Well, if you have any deviation from that schedule, there's the possibility if somebody doesn't remember to do it, that building will sit there unlocked. Say you have a snow day, which we have regularly. You have to, that's another thing in the protocol. You have to remember to reverse the building and hope that it does and everything works there. So I would rather have it be proactive in there's a person that opens the building, a human being that says, this is a school day, schedules the building with a card, and then have another card that we could scan if we had an early closure. So early closure, everybody's done, scan that one, it puts it back into the rest state of the building. What I'm trying to do there is mitigate accidental building being opening, and also mitigate the number of steps that have to be performed every year to keep the buildings operational. If we have it card based, we don't have to calendar all this stuff. We don't have to calendar every single day and every single vacation. We can just have the building do what it needs to do. So that's where I'm pushing for, and we've got that in with Genetech, and we'll see where we go. If not, if we can't do that, we'll just have to schedule it. Peck Elementary and Cavendish Elementary have had access control for quite some time, but we haven't gotten back to them to do the cameras. And it's not because they're last, except they are. It's just because we can go up there and do them on a Friday. We can knock out, like Cavendish probably one Friday and have it done, and Peck one Friday and have it done. And so we can work that through the school year. And so it seems a little lame, but these other projects require days of like being able to just be there and keep chipping away at it, or we're never going to get them done. So we're trying to get those big ones knocked out. And I know that's probably not, if you're at Peck or Cavendish, that's not the news you want to hear, but realistically, that's what we have to do with the resources that we have to be as efficient as we can be.
Well, I'm glad we had them locked down the longest, or the actuals.
Yeah, we had the hardware for them, so we were able to get that access control, which is a biggie for them. But like the door cam and the door station and that, poked unlock, that would be super handy for them too. So we'll see where we can get with that.
How long do the cameras, can you go back on them? Are they recording?
I think we've got a month right now. And what we may have, we kind of tried to build as much future as we could when we bought that system, which has been, wow, Carmen, when did we put that in? We actually put in that part of the system with the food service grant 5 years ago,
Oh, wow.
4 years ago, probably 4-ish.
Yeah.
And so we tried to buy quite a bit of future, but of course, when you're buying storage space, it's always cheap to buy it. The cheapest is to buy what you need now. Because if you buy ahead, your storage is expensive. So we'll see where we've got capacity on that machine to poke in some more drives, and we probably will need to do that. We'll probably have to put some more in there, but I'd like to maintain at least 60 days or 30 days at least.
Sure.
Because a lot of times things come up and you're like, oh, we just realized this happened and we think it happened back here. And, to have to go back 2 weeks is actually pretty easy to have that happen.
Yeah, I think it goes by quick.
Yeah.
So
Especially with shutdowns.
yeah. And now with, of course, storage is a lot cheaper than it was 4 years ago. So we should be able to add relatively inexpensively compared to the rest of the project. The storage will be cheap because that is not going to be a device replacement. We have capacity to add. So,
Good. Sounds like we're about there then, huh? Getting
I-
close.
I'm almost afraid of that. We put in those doors so long ago at Orofino Elementary. And I remember when, we had to come up with a way of like barring them because they didn't order them with the dogs on on the entry doors and that market door. And, so I remember this conversation very specifically with Denise, and I said, hey, we could Velcro these. And she's like, I don't want Velcro forever. And it has been what seems like forever. So when I heard those doors click open, automated, I was like, finally, wow. It's like, I didn't know if I was going to live to see the day. So it's pretty exciting to see that coming together. And
Long
then
time coming, and it's a good thing to have, I think.
Rush, you got that, excuse me, the THS camera installations currently on hold for fiscal reasons. What are you talking about there?
well, budgeting wise for the Timberline building. So we've got Timberline Elementary, that's contracted and those cameras are in and that's going to be finished up. So to finish the elementary building, but the main building we don't have. So we've got it quoted. We've got it quoted for the full system. We've got it quoted. I just sent a quote on for just doing door stations. So we could work on this in phases, but we got to kind of see where we are budget wise overall. I think the full, I probably shouldn't do this off the top of my head. I think we were about 40,000 for that building to do the full deal. We're about 8,000-ish for just door stations and finishing that up. And basically there was a little bit of delay on the quote. What I didn't realize, well, I did as we reviewed it, but when they came in and did the access control in there and we were pulling cable, they pulled cable for the door stations and things that were on the same runs, and they just did that. And it wasn't actually in the camera cabling or in the access control cabling, but we pulled in those camera cables. So when I got the door station quote, I was like, oh, cabling, we already have cabling there. And you guys, this seems a little high. And he's like, well, we already did it. So, we're kind of counting on you guys doing the rest of it. But we kind of already did this thing. And that's why you see those things in that quote that you don't need it because it's already there, because we kind of like comped you on it. So anyway, that's where we are on that. Hopefully, I'm hopeful that we can do the whole building because it'll put it all in the one system and basically the one pane of glass. So that meets our goals there. But that's kind of where we are right now.
I can probably elaborate a little bit on that too as well. So when we got towards the end of the fiscal year, a lot of that was through grant and, part of it was through our grants and part of it was through our budget. So we wanted to kind of wait and see where we're at with our audit and look into the new fiscal year. So we kind of said, well, let's prioritize and let's get the doors in and get some of these cameras started. And then we'll kind of go back and fill in those cracks. So that's where we're at. And we haven't made those final decisions because we just had our audit. We haven't seen the results of that yet. So we think we know, but we want to make sure.
I thought it was because you had Jason set in front and center there. So
Yeah. And we want to get that in the pipe as soon as we can, because there are still supply problems. I mean, we're getting cameras that are ordered, 9 months ago or 12 months ago. It's just that we were ahead of that. And so it's good to see that. But we, as soon as we have we make sure we have the fiscal room to do this and see what steps we take there. But we're pretty excited about getting that all in and getting everybody trained up. And it's even when you get the hardware done, that's what I've realized the last, week or so. It's like you get the hardware done and you think, oh, and it's like, no, now you got to build all the backside stuff, all the control groups and who has what rights and who gets, what. And that's actually a pretty big chunk. And then try to build it in a way that's maintainable, right? Because all of these, you can very easily build these cobwebby corners where, oh, I didn't know they had access still, or, well, where do we need to give them access? So I'm trying to build out a system that's maintainable without a lot of work. We have had our first breakdown, which was at PAC, and that it just is a reminder of the complexity of the system that we're putting in. We're used to being able to put a door lock in, and we've got numerous door locks that are probably 50 years old, been rekeyed a couple of times, but they just work, right? You have a key, the lock works.
Right.
And the system is going to require more maintenance than that.
Yeah.
we don't, what we're putting in, none of it's 50-year stuff, hopefully it's 10-year stuff. That's the reality of this move. It is extraordinarily more complex.
Yeah.
And it's,
You're gonna have bugs.
yeah. So for instance, at PEC, it got so I was reading the fobs, but wasn't unlocking the door, except when I went and checked it, it unlocked it like 4 times perfectly and then never would unlock again. And Robin had not been able to get in the door, had to use the key. And we couldn't figure out, it's like looked over all the back end stuff, like everything seems to be fine. You can see where, access was granted, except it wasn't. I took a video. I'm like, okay, I'm scanning this. I can't get in the door. So whatever it's saying, so it's timed, right? And going back and look at the time and it's like, oh yeah, granted access, door never opened. It's like, yeah, it never opened because you couldn't. So it was a wire that come loose in a connector in the door frame, that was installed in June and was broken by July. And it was in the connector, but when we pulled that out, it just like, oh, look, well, that was probably it, right? Because you don't know for sure. Connected up, it's working, but it's been working intermittently. It's worked fine since. So I'm thinking that's the thing. But those little bugs like that are like, we're building 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we're making progress. It
Yeah, I'm
sounds
glad
like
he's-
it-
Yeah, it's good
it's-
progress and is really pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
It's cool. I think that's
Big
gonna be really cool to have the video footage and have all those doors on a lot more.
Yeah, that's actually the nightmare, Christine.
Just the beginning.
Yeah, but it is.
Like we say, we're glad you're doing it.
Yeah, the systems are really nice because if you're looking for something in a specific area, it's easy to pinpoint that area and see where there was change in that area. So there's some really nice analytic tools. Cameras, more and more analytics. We put a camera out at the end of OES that if we wanted to, could do license plate recognition going out of the pull-in, out of the driveway. So we're building a lot more than we see right now.
Is the record function on it motion censored?
They are, but we're not doing that. We're just continuous recording. Yeah, because then you don't miss anything. If
Yeah.
the cameras are up and they're online, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The recommendation was not to do motion because you can miss stuff. You have to build, especially outdoor cameras, you have to build them so it doesn't, the leaves
Pick up
don't
the
do it and
leaves,
the these
pick
and
up
the
the
changing and
pick
the
up
whatever else.
But
And they're like, the best thing to do is plug in lots of storage and just record.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's the approach we've taken.
perfect. All right. Thank you,
Thank-
Russell.
Thanks, Russell. I appreciate the update.
Appreciate it.
All right. Moving on, policy updates. Miss Becca, come on down.
So we have a whole kit and caboodle from August that's on second read.
Mhm.
But the first one is not, the first one is a first read, which the sick leave bank committee got together and did some
Right.
revisions based on the negotiation meetings and decided that was done. So that 5401 is in there for you guys to look at. And then we do need to update 5400, which is to update the COVID language in some of our sick leave policies. And that's to be in alignment with the negotiated agreement that was already settled
Right.
upon. So those two are new for you to look at, but the policy committee reviewed them and they're comfortable with the changes. And then for your second reads, we have 3510 and 3500, which are both new medical policies to be in alignment with Idaho statute that came out over the summer. And Casey reviewed both of them and said they're not a far, from what we're doing now. And she made some necessary changes and feels good about that. It's both mostly to make parents aware of medical screenings and opportunities as far as medical health that they could have.
Right.
2700 is an update to the high school graduation requirements to include financial literacy to keep us in alignment with
Right.
the new
State board.
updates. And also we're going to adjust and put in the GPA required for honor roll in there. And then it gave us an option to add an entity to include alternative school credits. So we wanted to make sure that it was written into our policy that any school credits that came from the academy automatically translate to any of our district schools.
Oh,
So we'll put that in there.
Okay.
And then 2140 is part of our parental rights laws that have come up. And this one is specifically in alignment with surveys and making sure that we let, if we have surveys that are non-curricular, that we get parental permission for those. And that's the policy that states that. That's again in alignment with the new statute that came out. And the 2140F is something where we're going to have to, as a district, put together a list of the common surveys that those might be. One of the suggestions the policy committee made was to say touch base with your building principal to get an updated list of surveys if you have a question about specific surveys that'll be
Gotcha.
administrated.
Okay.
Is this limited just to certain topics? I see.
Yeah, so really they were looking for more so that we are making sure that parents are super aware if it's not specifically in alignment with mandated from the state or
Yeah.
curriculum based, if we're surveying students about well-being, social and
Right.
emotional issues, that they're aware that their students are answering questions in regards to those
Right.
topics. Then we have the 2425, which is the other parental rights policy that came out. That one is, like I said, almost cookie cutter Idaho code statute, but they did give us the option of adding the two different forms, the 2425F and P. The policy committee at this time was not going to recommend approving those additional forms because within each of the buildings, it's not a requirement and it is a very, very overextensively detailed process. Really what the law is asking us to do is that if a student is indicating has a shift in behavior or well-being, that we're contacting parents. I think that the schools feel pretty confident that that communication is happening, and having communication, whether it's parental logs or different things within their own building, is a little bit more workable than like a 4-page filled out form that says, we did this is what happened. That it would be good. The policy committee said it's good to see kind of as this is the first rollout of this, there may be more condensed versions of making sure we're communicating to those parents in that way. So those two would be a deny, the 2425F and P. And then we also decided to wait on the 301A1, which is the open enrollment. That was an advisement from Cody. He said that there's a lot of stuff coming out from the state that they're building to help support that process. They're supposed to be, if you look in the policy tracker, it talks about using the State Department of Education form. It's not done. So
kinda hard to
adopting
do
the
that.
policy that says in alignment, we're going to use this form. We figure we'll just keep what we have now, which has a good parameters and caps already built in, and we're not out of compliance with what the statute is saying. So we kind of have that one is kind of like a pause, wait till the state rolls out some more specific instructions on the best way to navigate it,
Yeah.
and then keep it on our burner for maybe next month or the couple months as it comes up. So again, the two at the front are first reads, and then approve everything except for open enrollment and the 2425F and P, which are the extra documentation for parental rights consent.
So the recommendation is everything except for 2425F and P and the open enrollment one.
Yes, and so that would be 3010A1, because we actually condensed 3 different policies into one policy, but then use the State Department form.
Okay.
So,
For some reason, my access
Yeah.
isn't working. If first,
okay, I'll
If
look
you
at it
can
when I
check
get back
that,
there.
thank
I can
you.
Do it on my phone.
Cool.
Yep.
Anybody have anything on that discussion wise?
During the action.
All right, supplemental levy. Take it away, Dr. Jarrett.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, congratulations and thank you and those type of things. So we did pass that levy. That will take effect July 1st, 2024 for a 2-year period. So that was very reassuring. That was from what I understood, I wasn't here. Pretty rough time, but we had a decent voter turnout, not as big as what we thought it would be, but still came through. So lots of good supporters there, and continue lots of good things. So we appreciate that. I also had a couple things that we missed up here on the superintendent report. If I can add those in this
Geez,
discussion.
yes, go ahead.
Um,
All over the place.
Yeah, that's okay. I just wanted to bring up that we're still in kind of negotiations, or whatever. I have a meeting with IDYCA on Wednesday to kind of finalize, I hope, our agreement for our MOA for this year. Also, there's been some concern and some parents contact me from Peck Elementary School, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about that. Right now, we have 39 students at Peck Elementary, 1 teacher and 2 paras. So the question has been, do we need another para? Do we need, what do we need? So what we're doing is we're doing an assessment, and I met with a parent who was kind of representing the PTO. I didn't meet with the others. They weren't available at that time, and we were able to meet at the fair actually. So that worked out okay. So anyway, we talked about, a lot about what the need was, and there's some recommendations that they have. And I shared that with you guys as well. That email that was sent out, kind of a summary of that situation. So where we left it is we're looking at trying to figure out what those needs are for those students. And that's really what we're we're really wanting to know is, the facilities came up as well, and we're doing a full assessment on that facility as well. Roy is, talking to contractors and some safety inspectors, those type of things, and see what it's actually going to take to bring the building right back to where it really needs to be. And then as well as that, we're doing, Ms. Pomponio and myself, we're going to do some assessment out there and see what the needs are of the students themselves. So that is still, moving forward. We don't have any answers yet. We just want to see what that need is. So that has been brought to our attention, and I'm rightfully so.
About 37.
39 at this point.
That's
Yeah.
up from what, 32 last year?
Yeah,
31?
yeah.
So
We had a couple
quite bit.
families moved in. There's been a lot of discussion about moving kids from that are in Orofino residence back to Orofino. And I told the parents that's not something we wanted to do at this point. We do have that right to do that, but we want to see what the issue is and, if there is an issue there. So we want to make sure we do the right thing with that. So.
I think it's gonna be a matter of looking at the dollars and cents and looking at
Mhm.
all the different variables. in
Sure.
there.
There's a lot of factors there,
Yeah.
obviously, but
Does it
we'll,
depend a lot on the future of the school there? It depends a lot on the state of the building itself.
well, there are some things that we need to address on that, and then we need to see how deep those are going to go as well. Siding, windows, those type of things, but then structurally, where are we at? So we don't have that answer at this time. So, yep. And that's really the goal, is to collect that data and try to figure out what we need to do. So, yeah, it's a process for sure.
Is Cavendish up also, or is this a Peck thing mostly?
So Cavendish, on the numbers, we're about where we were last year. We're up a little bit, I believe. But not to that extent
Yeah.
at this point. So,
I think it's a great thing. I mean, we've got
Yeah.
that many people wanting to go out to Peck.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, our
So
little
it's gonna go-
schools, I mean, they rock
Yeah.
it. They do a great job with it. So, we want to support that all we can, but,
Yeah.
we just make sure we have the right supports out there. So again, that's continuing to evaluate. There was a couple years ago, I think I don't remember how many years that was, but I think we were down to, 17, 18 or something like that. So I was going to say it was down pretty low. Yeah. Yeah, it's really went up. And I was trying to think how long ago that was. I'd have to look back, but time flies. But
Ebbs and flows.
yeah, and that's typical. I mean, it's any of the small schools, it can go pretty quickly. A couple families move in can make a big difference. So. Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
so that's on the radar.
The younger kids and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of a neat
Yeah.
Yeah, super nice. Remember we went out to that presentation, how much
Yeah.
they'd put in them kids.
idea.
So just making you guys aware that is on the radar, and we'll continue to report on that and make some decisions as we go.
Hmm.
Other thing, we've had some discussions with leadership about eligibility and how we're doing that. We want to have a little discussion about that a little bit further, but right now, the way it's working is working. I don't think we are making any changes, but it's something that in the future, holding kids a little bit more accountable, it might be something we want to look at. So we don't have any answers on that. We're not changing anything, not trying to rile anybody up, but it's definitely something we need to continue to look at and see if we can improve. And then the last thing I had on my list was for you guys, and we can do this later, but ISBA convention is coming up in November. So if you guys are interested in going, it's November 15th through 17th, I believe, in Boise. So if you can get that information back to Karma or myself, and we'll let you know, or let us know if you're going to go. And for you guys out on the air out there, same thing for you guys.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
At 7, Carmen. I saw her pop up there.
All right. I'm
Thank you.
sorry I
Oh,
skipped you.
thanks for that time. No, I appreciate it.
All over the place.
That's okay.
All right, so
The trustee elections. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the trustee elections, we had zone 1, 2, and 3 were all open, open seats. So in zone 1, Greg did not re-up his interest. So, and we didn't have anybody sign up for zone 1 during the regular sign up or the write-in sign up, which ended last week. So that will be open. Zone 2, Chris St. Germain did sign up. She was the only one. There'll be a non-election. And then zone 3, Christine Earps signed up. So that will be a non-election as well. That's the only ones running. So what will happen is in January, as we roll around to your term will end December 31st, basically. So January the first meeting, we'll reorganize, and then we'll be looking for somebody from zone one. And we'll kind of go through that same process. I believe Chris St. Germain went through that process when she came on. We'll be looking for applicants from that zone. So basically we have 90 days to do that. I think we'll probably be able to find somebody by then. So we'll be twisting some arms. Oh, good. Good. So nothing will happen with that until January, but definitely we need to start that process. So we have somebody on. So.
Let her know the time commitment.
Nope, I'm not going to. Not going to do that.
Not gonna do that. All right. All right. So with that, we need an executive session.
You may.
So, and then we'll do the action items after that. So we need a motion for executive.
I'm going to move that we move into executive session according to Idaho Code 74-206, 1A and B.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call vote?
Trustee Ertz,
Yes.
trustee Daniels,
Yes.
trustee Giroux,
Yes.
trustee Saint Germain,
That's fine, but I'm not in a space where I can be private.
okay, and trustee Craig.
Yes.
So, Michael, will you just text me when I am to come back into the Zoom?
Yeah. So how do you want to handle that, Chris? Do you want me to just call you on the phone so you can have it to your ear? Would that work? And you can
We
go
can
out
try,
there?
we can try that. Yeah.
Okay, so
I
if
just
you'll
want to be
leave-
sensitive. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly I'm I'm out of state. So,
Okay. If
yeah.
you'll leave the Zoom meeting, and then I will call you on your cell from mine, and I'll do the same with Brian. If you would leave the meeting, and then you guys can come back, and that way there won't be access on that. That
Okay.
work?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. If I have cell service.
Okay, we are back out from our executive session, ready for our action items. We have no action from executive at this point. All right, first is the early graduation request. Can I get a motion?
I'll move that we accept the two early graduation requests.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Hold on. Did you get those two back in? Did you get the two back in Zoom? Sorry about that. They probably need to be in.
Roll back.
They said they were gonna try to get back in there.
You want to announce what we're gonna do in there?
Huh? Well,
When they do that again.
yeah, we're gonna have to do it again, since.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
I assume Becca recommends these early graduations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I went through all of the transcripts and made sure they were good to go. And sent it to us.
Yeah, let me just call her and let me just pull her up on the phone. If you can, and keep looking.
just doesn't join.
Well, she was.
Yeah, she's out of town trying to
Yeah.
do phones.
Oh, do you want to just do this on the phone or you want to try to get back in the Zoom?
Or is she done with us?
Okay, all
right.
right, we're getting ready to do the action. I'm just gonna put you on speaker right in front of this one. So here you go.
All right. So let's roll back a little bit. Let's can I get a motion for the early graduation requests?
I'm gonna move that we accept the two early graduation requests.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Yes. Next is policy, the August 2nd read and September 1st read. Can I get a motion?
You're gonna have to read those.
I'll move that we accept the second reading policy change.
Except for.
I was talking to you.
August 2nd.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, Becca, would you mind clarifying that?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I think that would be better if we had an official.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you. So this is exactly the numbers you're looking for, Chris.
Okay, so the policy committee's recommendation was to approve all of the second read policies except for 2425 F and P and 3010A1.
All right. Can we get a motion to reflect that?
I'll amend my motion to that.
Duly noted.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, that's all right. Just want to make sure we got it right.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, moving on to the new hires and separations. Can I get a motion?
We'll make a motion that we accept the new hires and separations as presented.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right.
ISBA conference.
Oh, who is going to the ISBA conference?
November 15th through 17th in Boise.
Have to get on my calendar.
Okay,
First.
Christine. Okay. That'd be great because the early registration is coming up here pretty quickly. So
You mind email us those dates, Mike? Sorry.
that's November 15th through 17th
15th through the 17th.
Yep.
Okay.
in
Mike,
Greg,
I'll check my calendar. I know the 15th would be out. I could potentially come down the day after though.
Okay.
So I'll get back to you Thursday.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll look when I get to a place where I can get online with my computer.
Okay. So if you'll email me what you myself and Carmen, and then we can get those reservations made and get you guys rolled. And Jesse, if you can do the same.
Yeah,
that'd
I'll
be great.
email you. I
Okay.
think I have.
I just wanted to make sure, and I'll be asking you guys again if you don't, so we can get that
I'm clearing my calendar.
cleaning it.
You're
Okay,
thinking,
perfect.
John?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
Don't bring John.
I know.
I'm just kidding. We can stick him on the legislators.
Yeah, he does that already. So there's that. All right. So with that, do we have any other board input for the future agenda for the October 16th meeting? The Timberline
Yep.
thing,
Foundation, yep.
foundation thing?
Got that on there.
Anybody have anything else?
I'll probably be calling into it.
Okay.
Nothing else? I think that was the major thing, was just that. Okay,
Action item.
yep. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn the meeting tonight at 8:04.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
For motion to adjourn. Aye.
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 Okay.
you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for
Meeting
calling
is
in.
adjourned. You notice I don't open that
Appreciate
up for
it.
discussion.
Safe travel. Bye.